Have you ever wondered how your sculpture makes its journey? You left art class, it was squishy, it was gray. You come back, it's hard and white and solid. How did that happen? Let's go on a little trip and figure it out. First of all, your sculpture is gonna take a seat on our cart and leave the art room. Your sculpture is gonna enjoy his ride down the hall, looking at the beautiful artwork that's hanging there. We're going to continue on all the way through the cafeteria and outside. Alright guys, we made it back here to the boiler room. I'm not going to lie, it's a little scary back here. I'm brave though. I'm going to go in and we are going to look for our sculptures and see how they turned out. Okay, we made it back here. This is the kiln. There's that big silver vent that vents all the hot air outside. There are a bunch of controls that determine how long the kiln is on for and shutting it off. Right now I've got the door propped open because the kiln has shut down yesterday and I've been letting it cool. Okay, so I'm gonna lift up the kiln. Oh gosh, it's heavy. Here's our first layer. This is Miss Ham's class of sculptures. See how they've turned nice and white? And I'm going to go ahead and load this first layer onto a blue tray. So right now the cart actually won't fit all the way back here into this room, so it's a little bit further on, so I have to take it there. You guys can see in here the posts that we're holding up that big shelf. I can take those out. If you guys look at the sides, this is where the coils are that heat up the kiln. See how they're evenly distributed through the whole kiln? And this, there's two things. This is the thermocouple. This feels the temperature of the kiln. This also feels the temperature of the kiln. This is the little latch that decides when to turn off the kiln. Used to look like. It was an 06 cone and it melts at the temperature that we need. So what I do to start the kiln is stick this little guy in here, and then when it gets to the temperature of 06, which it's around 1800 degrees, pretty hot, this little guy melts. And when that melts, it closes, it makes this little latch go down. And when that happens, on the outside of the kiln, this was like this when the cone was in there. And when the cone melts, it pops open like that and it stops. And there's another mechanism right here, the timer, that will also turn off the kiln if something is wrong, possibly with the cone. So that's pretty much the inner workings of the kiln. I'm gonna go ahead and unload this one, and then I'll show you a little bit farther down. Those sculptures are unloaded. So these shelves are in two, a little easier to lift out. It's still going. Another layer of sculptures, another layer of kiln posts, and there's one more layer under that. Here we are looking at the last layer of sculptures in the kiln. The bottom shelf, it just hangs out in there. There's not really any reason to take it out unless you know, you need to sweep or something down there if things get broken. Guys, check out this bumpy road. Check out this divot going back here. It does not look steep. It does not look too bumpy, but when you're going with a carton of precious cargo, it is a very slow going. So these sculptures are actually very adventurous. I have to go super slow. Fingers crossed. This is why it's so important that your sculptures are thick and that nothing is too thin, because they actually have quite the journey to get back here. I hope you guys have enjoyed the inner workings of the kiln and seeing that, and now you know a little bit more about the mystery of what happens with your sculptures.